18 to 18 damage to 15 damage. I mean, it basically just means they want it to exactly the same versus Marines and Zealots, but not versus armored things and stuff like that. So like mech, stalkers. It's an interesting problem, right? Because like the better players become, the more banelings will be better, just because they're such a like cheap, cost efficient, but also most importantly supply efficient unit that like I feel like this is always going to be a problem, and it blows for all the normal people that aren't Cyril, and that's just how it's going to be. Just because their skill cap is so high. As far as like the rest changes, how do we feel about like oracles getting increased revelation? Who cares? Like, what is that? And then void ray. What's void ray doing here? I mean, I know people aren't using the void ray, but people don't use a lot of units, and no one complains. But I was thinking about this, and I feel like them changing all the air, especially void ray and tempest. I feel like this is a scheme to try to make Microbial Shroud actually useful, because Void Ray, Tempest, Carrier also all get affected by Microbial Shroud, whereas like Oracle, it doesn't because it's a spell. But yeah, I feel like they're trying to like in a backwards way trying to make Microbial Shroud good, but it's just not happening, man. Like Void Rays are just gonna be the cheesiest unit ever. Terrians are gonna be so sad having to play versus this, and I mean ZVP they'll be uh, zooming, man. They'll be zooming all over the place, but I won't have a chance to shroud anywhere versus this, so I don't think it's gonna quite hit the mark. I'm really curious. Has anyone played with this upgrade in the balance test? Because I'm wondering if this is like a spell or what this is. Is this just an upgrade to just all their attacks? It looks like it's just an upgrade, which would not affect Microbial Shroud. So I don't know. I guess they're just trying to do stuff. They just think it's cool. You know, I gotta admit, I really feel like, because okay, so here's the thing: a lot of Blizzard communicates with players probably more than they ever have. Maybe not this year so much, but in the last this expansion, for sure, they'll ask them, "What do you think is gonna be good?" Like, that's why like the Nidus got changed to be way cheaper, because they were trying to make it more late game. Because people were like, "Nidus is useless." That was like a player suggestion. So I think they're, in a way, a lot better than they used to be. But then you'll also have these patches where it's like, it's very obvious they want like void rays to be used more, and I don't know. They guess they just think that this should have happened with carriers a long time ago. Oracles, it seems like this is like I want them to be used more. But like the Tempest thing, for example, Tempest is like very meta right now. At the highest level, like people are using Tempest and they're buffing Tempest in a big way. So it makes me kind of wonder, like, are they looking at these games and they think it's like very Zerg favored and they needs to fix it up with some Tempest, or is it like they just think Tempests aren't used? Like it's really hard to see what the thought process is with some of this stuff. Like Baneling, I know exactly what they're thinking with Baneling, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell exactly what's going on. But as a person who's not particularly a fan of late game, I I gotta be honest, I'm not looking forward to this. But it is what it is. If you ask me though, I would say this, like, if this Baneling nerf gets through, I mean, maybe Ling Bling Muta versus Mac won't be as good. Maybe Stalker builds will gain in popularity even more than they already have. But I know one thing for sure is that ZVZ is going to get insane, dude. It's going to get nuts. 3 Banelings to kill 1 Baneling? Oof. Oh my god. It's going to be nuts. everyone's gonna change how they play. Like me, I go 2-base Muta. How am I gonna play 2-base Muta with that? You know, and stuff like the Void Ray. There's no way that's gonna stay. It's way too fast. Void Rays are faster than I'm pretty sure they're faster than Corruptors with this speed. And they're definitely at least as fast as a Viking. Because I've heard people say once you lock on to a Viking with a Void Ray, they can't run. So I think these are kind of null. But Oracle, Carrier, Tempest is probably the biggest one that I think would actually stay in the game, but is also very powerful. Because, like, I mean, every Zerg player knows the main strategy late game is massing spores. So if you're just getting through those spores super fast, people are going to be playing like way more Vipers to abduct or something. I don't know what you'd have to do. I think you'd have to go like double time on Vipers than you normally would. That's the only thing I could think of right now. But everything else is kind of whatever. Or are they buffing Void Rays? I mean, it's a terrible unit. But this is too much, right? You really cannot outrun a Void Ray at this point. They get Flux Veins. I mean, it was already crazy with Flux Veins. But man, all those Straight into Sky Toss players are creaming their pants. I guess if I had to sum up at least the proposed changes is like the Baneling changing would change every single matchup, especially ZVZ. I don't see this going through the same numbers that they have it. Oracle change is good. No one's gonna use it for creep. Just like, everyone's just Revelating Army. Let's just keep it real. Void Ray change is not. That's definitely gonna change. There's no way they're gonna keep that. Maybe make the Void Ray stronger, but don't make it move faster, man. I think having it move crazy fast is like a really scary situation. Carrier just seems like a quality of life. And Tempest just seems really strong. I think this is the strongest change that will actually go through 100%. And I think that's pretty spooky. So to me, Tempest is like #1 suspect, and then surely the Void Ray change will not go through just because of TVP, and then Banelings just because of ZVZ. Like, come on. Everything else, I think is fine. I think it's good. 6 Tempest, 2 shots fire. Yeah, exactly. Like, that would be, it's such a specific scenario, but how many Tempests would it take to kill a Spore? If it's plus 40 damage. Okay, so 40 already. So it'd be 80, right? How much does the Spore have for health? 400? Yeah, it really wouldn't take much. Because that's what I'm worried about. Is like them just like coming up. Fucking nuking my Spore Crawlers. Because then you're on a time crunch. I think that's where, like, I don't know. Maybe everyone's just going to mass Viper. I really don't know. Because right now, especially if the nerf goes through on Banelings, Zerg's not going to have a lot of opportunities to end the game before. So it's going to be tough. Yeah, I think the only way you could do is mass Viper. Because, like, you're going to need to be able to abduct, but in a way that, like, is very fast-paced. So maybe you just have, like, 6 in front, 6 in back, and you just keep it going forever. That's kind of what I have in my head, but I don't know. Don't take late game advice from me. I'm a complete shitter, man. I'm not a late game player. I used to be a great late game player. ZVT and ZVP. But I haven't played a really proper late game ZVP in a long time.